While most people are worried about Christmas, the it girls are more concerned about making 2026 the best year they've ever had. And this video is going to help you do that. Transformation doesn't start when you try harder. It starts when something on the inside of you finally settles. And that might already be a relief for some of you to hear because you've been trying. You've been pushing. You've been holding it together longer than most people realize. You need clarity before you make one more big decision, before you say yes to one more assignment, before you carry one more person on your back, emotionally, mentally, or spiritually. For many of you, this season isn't about becoming someone new. It's not about reinventing yourself or fixing what's wrong with you. It's about coming back to yourself. Coming back to the version of you that wasn't constantly exhausted, the version of you that wasn't scattered across everyone else's needs, the version of you that wasn't emotionally crowded on the inside, although you look fine on the outside. That's what a real comeback looks like. Before we go any further, I want you to know something. There is nothing wrong with feeling the way you feel. Feeling tired on the inside doesn't mean you're ungrateful. Feeling off doesn't mean you're failing, and needing a reset doesn't mean you've lost your strength. It usually means you were strong for too long without support. So today, I'm not giving you a to-do list. I'm not giving you 5 things to add to your plate. And I'm definitely not here to hype you up and then send you back into survival mode. Instead, I want to show you 5 things that quietly transform when real healing begins. Your mind, your body, your emotional world, your spiritual direction, and the direction of your life. When these 5 things start working together, life stops feeling so heavy, and your comeback doesn't feel forced anymore. It feels natural. Type "I'm in my comeback season" in the comments. This is usually the part where women start asking themselves, why does change feel so hard if I'm doing everything right? High achieving women are incredibly good at staying functional while being internally fragmented. You keep showing up, you keep performing, you keep producing. The calendar stays full, but the soul feels empty. On the outside, everything looks fine, but on the inside, something feels off. Your mind is racing, your body is tired, and your sense of direction feels fuzzy. Baby girl, that's what misalignment feels like, and you can't outwork misalignment. Most women try to fix this by pushing harder, by being more disciplined, by adding another routine, another responsibility, another expectation. But misalignment isn't solved by effort, it's solved by realignment. If you've been wondering, why am I doing all the right things and still feel off? I want you to hear this clearly. It's not laziness, it's not sabotage, and it's not a lack of discipline. It's misalignment. And that matters because it means you are not broken. This is something I used to tell myself all the time. You're so broken, you're so broken. No, you're not. It means your system has been trying to function without enough support. Nothing is wrong with you. Something on the inside just needs to come back into sync. And the first place that transformation shows up is in the mind. Not because everything outside of you finally changes, but because the noise inside finally starts to quiet. When healing begins, racing thoughts don't dominate every moment anymore. Your brain doesn't feel like 12 tabs are open at once. Decision fatigue starts to ease. You're not drained just trying to figure out what to eat, what to say, or what to do next. And slowly, self trust returns. Most women have been told that they overthink because they're anxious, indecisive, or too emotional. But overthinking is very often a sign of system overload, not a flawed personality. When your system has been under pressure for a long time, your mind stays on high alert. It keeps scanning, it keeps rehearsing, it keeps trying to prevent the next mistake. That's not weakness, that's a system that learned to survive. Clarity isn't more information, it's not a better pros and cons list, and it's definitely not hearing 10 different opinions. Clarity is internal quiet. It's when your thoughts slow down long enough for you to feel what's true again. It's when the answer doesn't feel frantic. It feels settled. When your mind clears, you stop asking everyone else what you should do because you can finally hear yourself again. This is why mindset work by itself feels incomplete. You can understand what exactly needs to change and still feel too scrambled to move. Knowing isn't the problem, a dysregulated system is. When the nervous system settles, the mind follows, and clarity stops feeling like something you need to chase. It's something you live from. And once the mind starts to quiet, the body finally gets the message that it's safe. This is where a lot of women don't even realize healing is happening because their body has been in survival mode so long that tension feels normal. When real healing begins, chronic tension starts to release, not all at once, but gradually. Remember when I told you all that I lost 7 pounds by mistake, not even working out, just healing my nervous system? Honey, I got on the scale the other day. I'm down 10 pounds. Y'all better come get one of these. Not a chicken salad, a clarity reset. The shoulders don't stay clenched all day. The jaw isn't locked without you realizing it. That tight feeling in your chest starts to loosen. Hypervigilance softens. You're not scanning for every message, every tone, or every situation that could possibly go wrong. And rest stops feeling unsafe. It doesn't feel lazy. It doesn't feel unproductive. It feels necessary. Your body has been bracing for years for the next crisis, for the next need, for the next responsibility. That bracing kept you functioning. It kept you dependable. It kept you strong. But healing isn't collapse. Healing is regulation. If it feels okay for you right now, I want you to give your body a small moment of permission. Let your shoulders drop, even if it's just a little. Unclench your jaw. Let your tongue rest in your mouth. Take one slow inhale through your nose and let your exhale be longer than your inhale. Your body doesn't need more motivation. It needs permission to stop living in emergency mode. The problem isn't that you're weak, it's that your strength lived in survival mode for too long. When the body begins to feel safe again, everything else starts to reorganize. And one of the first things that changes next is your emotional world. Not because you stop feeling things, but because your emotions stop feeling like emergencies. When healing begins, there's less snapping, less crashing out, less reacting before you even know why you're reacting. You notice that you're not as emotionally flooded by every interaction, every text, every request. And when you set a boundary or say no, you notice that you don't spiral afterward like you used to. You don't replay the conversation 10 times. You don't punish yourself with guilt. You don't feel the need to over explain or justify. Boundaries start to feel clearer and less dramatic. A lot of women have been told that emotional overwhelm means they're immature, too sensitive, or not healed enough. But emotional overwhelm is very often unprocessed weight. Weight that never had a safe place to go. Weight that kept getting carried forward instead of released. So your emotions didn't get bigger. They just got heavier. Emotional maturity isn't never feeling emotions. Emotional maturity is staying present with yourself while you feel them. It's not abandoning yourself when you feel uncomfortable. It's not numbing. And it's not pretending you're fine when you're not. It's allowing yourself to feel without turning against yourself. You don't have to keep abandoning yourself every time someone else has a need. You're allowed to matter too. When your emotional world stabilizes, you stop living on edge. And when you stop living on edge, your discernment gets clearer. That's when spiritual direction begins to change. Your spiritual direction becomes clearer. When healing begins, you stop forcing clarity. You're not overanalyzing every thought. You're not reading into every sign. You're not panicking every time you need to make a decision. Discernment starts to feel quieter, steadier, and more grounded. There's less spiritual pressure, less urgency, less fear of missing God. God can absolutely speak in chaos, but you can hear him more clearly when your system isn't bracing for impact every 5 seconds. When your nervous system is constantly on high alert, everything feels urgent. Every decision feels heavy and every moment feels loaded. That doesn't mean God is silent. That means your system is loud. Discernment isn't urgency. Urgency often belongs to an anxious nervous system, not the Holy Spirit. The Spirit doesn't rush you, He leads you. When you're regulated, God doesn't have to shout over your fear to be heard. And as your discernment becomes clearer, your choices stop feeling chaotic. And when your choices get clearer, your direction in life starts to align. That's when your life direction begins to transform. When your discernment becomes clearer, your direction in life starts to shift too. Not because you suddenly have every answer, but because you're no longer making decisions from chaos. When healing begins, decisions feel clearer. They don't feel perfect, but they don't feel chaotic either. There's less second guessing, less replaying conversations, and less regret about whether you chose right or wrong. Direction stops feeling forced. It doesn't feel like pressure. It doesn't feel like panic. It feels embodied. Direction comes after alignment. Most people try to choose a direction while they're still fragmented on the inside. Their mind is noisy, their body is exhausted, and their emotions are overloaded. And then they wonder why nothing sticks. When alignment comes first, direction becomes obvious. Your life doesn't need more pressure. It needs alignment. A regulated, clear woman makes decisions a burned out, scattered woman never has access to. Not because she's smarter, not because she's stronger, but because she's aligned. When your mind, body, emotions, and discernment come back into sync, direction no longer feels like a guessing game. And that's why these 5 transformations were never meant to happen separately. And this is where everything starts to make sense. Because these 5 transformations were never meant to happen in isolation. When your mind gets clearer, your body finally stops bracing. When your body feels safer, your emotions don't flood you anymore. They stabilize. When your emotions stabilize, your discernment sharpens. You're not reacting, you're perceiving. And when your discernment is clear, your direction in life stops feeling like guesswork. It feels aligned. This is why so many women feel like they've done the work, but they still feel off. They've healed one part of themselves in isolation, but the rest of their system never caught up. So the breakthrough didn't stick. This is why real transformation feels like a comeback, not a hustle. It's all of you returning to the same place at the same time. If you've worked on only one area, mindset, emotions, faith, discipline, and you still felt like something was missing, there's nothing wrong with you. These parts of you were never meant to be separated. Healing was supposed to be whole. And when your system finally comes back into alignment like this, life stops feeling so heavy. That's the space clarity comes from. Before we wrap up, there's something I want to share with you because it was built for this exact moment. The clarity reset exists for women who know something has to change, not out there first, but in here. It's not motivation, it's not hype, and it's not a pile of information that you have to figure out on your own. It's a 7-day guided reset to help your mind slow down, your nervous system settle, and your inner direction come back online. This is for the woman who is done making decisions from exhaustion, from emotional autopilot, from constant overthinking, and who's ready to start making them from regulation, clarity, and self trust. For many women, this reset becomes the doorway to deeper healing work. But clarity always comes first. You don't rush the comeback, you create conditions for it. You are not late. You are not broken. You are coming back to yourself, and you are allowed to have support while you do. If this resonated with you and you want more conversations like this, grounded, faith rooted, and for high capacity women who are tired of surviving their own lives, subscribe and stay here. This space is for your comeback.